Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm out here at the Throttlestop in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin to show you guys a very unique 1969 Pontiac Trans Am with a very rare Ram Air 5 engine. And this is why Throttlestop brought me up here to show you guys today some of the special features about this particular 1969 Trans Am Ram Air 5. For the 1969 model year, Pontiac produced 697 of these vehicles, including 8 convertibles. This car being a quote-unquote Ram Air 5, Pontiac never produced a Ram Air 5 Trans Am. So this particular 69 Trans Am is very unique because of what we believe is an engineering piece under the hood. So today's 69 Trans Am was acquired by the Throttlestop a few years back out of a private collection. The story of the 69 Trans Am has been told many a times. Pontiac designed this to go Trans Am racing. However, with that being a 400 cubic inch engine in it, they really didn't do a lot of Trans Am racing with this package. So the engine compartment of our 69 Trans Am holds a Pontiac 400 cubic inch Ram Air 5 engine. So the current condition is a preservation state. When the Throttlestop acquired the vehicle, it was again part of a collection and it seemed like it was deteriorating. We took the vehicle to Kilpatrick Engine and Transmission in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where they went through the fluids and discovered that in the timing chain cover area where the water pump is, it was a gel, if you will. There was really no fluids there. So we had to replace the timing chain cover, the radiator, the engine was flushed, all the coolant was then reinserted. The engine does now run and drive. All that being said, we left the car as is, as a preservation state, as opposed to doing a concours restoration on a vehicle that we're still unsure of the full history of the engine. A car of this quality, of this rarity, in its current condition, deserves to stay as a preservation as opposed to restore it. A car is only original once, and a car in this kind of condition deserves to be maintained as a running, driving vehicle as opposed to a restored trailer queen. This particular engine has got a lot of very neat / unique features, including, starting where all engines start, is the engine block. This engine block itself has got multiple codes on it. The codes on the front of a normal Pontiac will just have, let's say, like 2 letters, like a WS, which would be for a 4-speed car. This has got an engineering order number. It has a developmental series number, as well as the 400 RV-8 number. It also has the stamped number 1. We have a feeling that this is possibly Ram Air 400 cubic inch engine block number 1. Next thing I'd like to highlight or show you guys is the cylinder heads. The Ram Air 5 tunnel port cylinder head was copied off of the Ford design. They actually have 4 individual exhaust ports with huge oversized intake ports, a very unique, specific to this engine, Ram Air 5 4-barrel intake. This engine, again going back to it being possibly the very first one done by engineering, has a Holley carburetor on it like all Ram Air 5s were supposed to have. However, this one is a 396, 375 horse Chevy carburetor, which kind of goes back to the thought of they maybe didn't develop the carburetor before they developed this, so they took the Chevy carburetor and threw it on here as a test mule design. The distributor is a Ram Air 5 specific distributor. Another really rare components on this particular engine are the exhaust manifolds. The exhaust manifolds are made of almost unobtanium in today's world. There's only a few sets known to exist, both for the F body, which would be for the Firebirds and Trans Ams, and the A bodies, which is the GTOs. A couple other things of note. On the passenger side, there is no code for the cylinder head, but on the driver's side, it is the correct number 44 head code as opposed to a developmental series code. Another thing that's extremely rare in this vehicle, and it kind of goes back to the thought of the car to become a production piece, is the heat shields on the uber rare exhaust manifolds. The heat shields would have been on a production basis for a car, not a race car. Everybody that ordered or bought a Ram Air 5 engine didn't care about the exhaust because they were building headers or putting it into a race car. This being a production-ish engine would have the heat shields as this car does. Again, that furthers the idea of this being a engineering or mule to be a production vehicle. Another mystery of this vehicle, written up here on the very original and rare 69 Trans Am hood, is the number 13-7-31-69. Don't know why that's there or who put it there. Would love some information if anybody knows what that was about. Another neat and unique feature to this Ram Air 5 engine is the Ram Air 5 specific harmonic balancer, which again is part of this engine as we got it. Very specific part that's only on Ram Air 5 engines. So as a lifelong Pontiac enthusiast, there's nothing more exciting than a Ram Air 5 engine. When I first saw this and the block codes and the cylinder heads and the condition, it was amazing to me. I mean, I get goosebumps just talking about it. If you see the car in person, it's really a piece of history, and I'm so glad that the Throttlestop has decided to keep it as a preservation as opposed to a restoration, because you can never replicate the age of the bolts or the corrosion and the condition of the engine. So now that I showed you the engine, let me take you around the vehicle and show you a couple other items that are very unique to this vehicle. A couple other things to show you that's on all 1969 Trans Ams. Obviously the Trans Am specific hood on the car, the fender vents, which are functional, the rear spoiler, as well as the cars were only available in white with the blue stripes. These were all part of the 1969 Pontiac Trans Am option. It's unfortunate that Pontiac wasn't able to get this Ram Air 5 engine into a production vehicle. They would have been way more competitive in the horsepower wars, the racing wars against the Mopars, the big block Chevys. Who knows what would have came along in 1970 or 71, had factors like insurance, gas prices, parts availability. Specifically in this engine, the connecting rods kind of doomed the fate of the Ram Air 5 program. But again, 1970 would have been a really interesting year. Again, the pinnacle of the horsepower wars throughout all the car manufacturers. 71, 72, who knows if none of those other things would have happened where that would have escalated. All that was part of the downfall of the Pontiac Ram Air 5 engine program. A couple neat features on the inside of our preservation 69 Trans Am Ram Air 5. The car is a factory deluxe interior, which has got the specific seat covers as well as door panels. A couple other things of note in our car is the factory AM/FM radio, a very rare option on 69 Firebirds. Factory tack, wood wheel, as well as you can see the 4-speed shifter. The stack gauges feature oil pressure, the fuel gauge, as well as the temperature. Very desirable option on the 69 Firebirds. And as you can see, the interior is as in found condition. Includes the dirt and dust. It's not been restored, as you can see, but again, it's part of what the car is, a piece of history. Onto the trunk area of the car, you'll notice the original B.F. Goodrich collapsible or inflatable spare tire. Even just the condition, everything is very original, rust-free, original matte. Another neat piece that we found on the car when we acquired it is the California blue plate. It reads Ram Air 5 TA. Just kind of adds to the coolness factor of the story. And of all the cars here at the Throttlestop, obviously this is me being a Pontiac guy, this is the one for me. It doesn't get any better than a 69 Trans Am, but then you add the Ram Air 5 motor, it's really the one that would be at my house in my driveway. Thanks again for watching our video on our 1969 Pontiac Trans Am Ram Air 5. Very unique and rare car. You can see this as well as many other exciting and rare vehicles, both two-wheeled and four, in person at the Throttlestop in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And be sure to follow the Throttlestop on all of our social media outlets.